Welcome to Random Encounters. I'm Valendro. Super sexy, here to please you. Just for comparison, I am 6 feet 4 inches. That's just under 200 centimeters. I believe it was 197 centimeters for our foreign friends. I'll have to double check on that. 6 feet 4 inches of awesome. And we're showing you this because this is an unboxing. This is the Edge Dawnfall from our good friends over at the sticker's covering it up.
The name of the company is Awaken Realms.
Awaken Realms. We kickstarted this particular board game because it looked amazing, and this is what we got out of it. I have a feeling it's not going to disappoint.
I was really not expecting them to send this in a box this size. Most other companies would send a game of this size in 2 or 3 separate boxes. I've kickstarted a couple of things from Cool Mini or Not before, and they sent like 2 or 3 boxes full of stuff for me to get everything. We did the same thing with Awaken Realms and the Edge Dawnfall, and they sent a box that is more than half my height.
Yeah.
For reference. So, yeah, we're gonna crack this son of a bitch open.
Yeah, this has been a long time coming. We've been waiting on this for a while. The entire game looked amazing. We picked up as many of the sets as we could. There were a few things that we did not grab, such as some of the land pieces and things that we didn't feel were quite necessary. But we did all get all the character pieces and such.
Okay, bear with us guys here for a moment. We're going to move this camera a little closer so that you can see the box come open. Let's move that there, and we'll slide that this way a little bit. Oh, wrong one. There we go. Try to get the middle of the box in here. Got my trusty multi-tool. Just going to split this tape. Time for the big bonanza.
Oh, there's tape along the...
Oh, yeah, okay. Just when you think you're done, there's more tape. Mr. Light here needs more tape.
In all fairness, there's a lot of box.
So it's got... Here's what we ordered this for, guys. The packaging material. Ooh. Ooh. Alright, so first we're going to pull the base game, and as you can see, Awaken Realms was even nice enough to send a note telling us that we had waited for 2 years for this to come about, because we kickstarted this back in, I think we sent out a survey about this in 2016 in the summer, right before I moved out of that apartment.
No, it was actually...
Or was it in...
It was the fall of 2016 is when we sent out the survey, and it was about January or so of 2017 when we acted on
it. Okay, yeah, that's when we did the final everything and
ordered all the stuff. Started ordering, yeah.
So that's when we put in the request for the whole box. And it even has a super secret campaign envelope that is not to be opened until the instructions inside the box tell us to do so. So,
ooh,
that's going to be a little. That's an element of. I think the last game I played that had an element like that was Risk Legacy, and that was quite fun.
Well, apparently, the developers started this project back in 2014.
Oh, okay.
When they started in development on this.
So. Here is the box with the base game, and it is over half the length of the box itself.
I do want to read this real quick. They are apologizing for having taken so long They do say, we hope that you will instantly dive into the Edge Dawnfall universe, discover its secrets, and make hard choices during the campaigns, have lots of epic battles while doing so. There are also different competitive modes waiting for you. It'll keep you busy for a very long time. Together with the box, you will find 2 surprise gifts. A core box of Siege Storm, a very fast-paced game that will test your deck building and strategy skills, and a unique limited playing card deck featuring arts from our upcoming board game, Etherfield's Names of Mare. On behalf of our whole team, we'd like to thank you for your support throughout this time and for trusting us to bring the Edge Dawnfall to life. We hope that you will not regret this trust.
All right.
So, yeah, there's
It's
2 surprise gifts. Core box for Storm Siege, featuring art from our upcoming board game, Etherland's Names of Mare. So I'm not sure if Etherland's Names of Mare is also in there. Because they said 2 surprise gifts.
We'll find out
and
here
only named 1. So
a little bit.
We'll see.
So that's the core box and the super secret envelope right there. That
is the war chest with all the stuff.
Yeah, that's the war chest with the
has all
base
6 factions.
There's the chapter, demons. Trying to remember the names of the other 3 factions. They're kind of escaping me right now.
Basically, this one is nature.
There's.
I don't remember what they're called.
I forget what they're called. I think one of the factions is the Faceless, and I think that's these guys. There's another faction that's basically dwarves, and I think that's these guys. But regardless, we'll get into that whenever we start opening the box. So I'm going to hand this box off to Valindro, and we'll get into the rest of the contents here before we start cracking into the cellophane.
See if I can't read the names on the back here, maybe, if they've got them.
Now, as an addition, we also picked up this, part of the Darkness faction, the Belcrow.
That was one that just, when I saw it in there, I thought was freaking amazing.
That was something that Valindro saw and just had to add into this for us. And then we've also got, there's more packaging material, Father of the Sun, which is the other boss. So we are going to have a lot of fun with that and attempting to overcome the challenges that this game presents, both in campaign and just tooling around competitively with it. This is Etherfields right here, so there's the box for that. We'll get into the cards here in a moment for that. And then also Storm Siege. And I think, or Siege Storm. Siege Storm. Storm Siege. I've been playing a lot of Warcraft lately, so. And this one, I think they just did a Kickstarter for this one. I wasn't expecting to get this, so I don't think I backed it. If this turns out to be pretty good, I may try to late pledge on it, but I'll really look to you guys for suggestions on that one after we look into this one, which we'll probably do in a separate video for these 2 products here, just because this one is all about what came in this box right here. So let's move that out of the way. We'll take that and chuck it across the room. That is going to get added to the contents of my closet, which I will show you guys on a different video, just to show you how large the collection that I have has gotten. Did you ever actually get the names of the other factions off this box?
No, they're not listed on there.
They're not listed? Okay, well, they'll be in the manual for sure. That much is certain. It's very carefully.
I was actually open on the edges here. There's openings if you want to just.
Well, I just needed one cut. Right. The box is nicked. So that's not good. All right. There's the cellophane Valendra. And then we'll... I love that feeling. Love that feeling of cracking open a new board and a new box. So right on top, we've got game boards. As you can see, this is a hex-based game. Any of you who have been following it already will know all about that. We've got a second board. I'll have to spread these out on a table in another video and see if they're the same board or not. Do not think that they will be. You've got your various tokens for your factions. So this one looks like the chapter, that looks like demons. And then here's what looks like the faction sheets. So we'll go through those here one at a time. You've got the chapter. And basically these guys are like holy knights. I'll follow a what appears to be a cybernetic angel is the big bad from that faction. You've got demons, which, I mean, come on. If you need further explanation on demons, how much attention have you actually been paying? You've got the Drivigar, however I'm supposed to pronounce that. This is the faction I was talking about earlier that are basically kind of like dwarves. You've got the Faceless. So this guy's kind of like undead, sort of. You've got the Reborn, which is the nature faction, like druids, not trees. And then you've got the Razak, which is
cybernetic.
Sort of like, for those of you who are fans of Quake, they kind of remind me a lot of the Strogg. So, Strogg, however they're supposed to be pronounced there. So, there's that for you to look through there, Valendra. You've got your various tokens. You've got labels and whatnot. And every faction, notice, every single faction has a sheet of tokens. Some of them, it looks like 2, actually, yeah. But each faction has this sheet of their own tokens to be popped out that will wind up cluttering up the inside of this box unless I have something to put them in. So, yeah, that's another thing to look forward to. You've got your campaign tracker, which is what all these labels are for. So there's that. We got a couple of scenarios. There's the Razak versus Drivigar.
One thing I will say about these labels and stickers that were added in there is these are meant to be like D&D length campaigns, to where the stories last for multiple sessions.
Yeah.
And so these stickers and stuff are actually used to like mark your progress through the game as you go.
Right.
So that way, essentially, it's like save data for a board game, which is not something I've seen a lot of things do. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
You've got Faceless versus Reborn campaign as well. And of course, the one you would always expect, Chapter versus Demons. It's another campaign.
So you've got dwarves versus mechs, demons versus clerics.
Well, it's dwarves versus undead mix, sort of like that. So
no, those are the mechs. The undead, or what is versus nature.
Oh, the Faceless.
The Faceless.
Yeah. Well, no. When I'm talking about, I don't think Valendra was initiated into the storyline of Quake, but basically the Strogg are sort of like the Borg, but worse.
Yeah, no, I'm well aware. Some of these are things, but like if you look at them, some of them are clearly like pilotless war machine and stuff. There's a lot of robots and stuff.
Razak. So maybe they're totally automatons. And then you've got the stretch goals booklet here. Now, one thing I will want you guys to note that coming out of the box, the Stretch Goals book did get a little bit creased inside the box there. So that is unfortunate, but it doesn't actually ruin anything too much. I still just enjoy the overall look of the game. And hey, it's not a broken mini or anything like that.
Yeah.
So
it's got the Velcro and stuff on here. So this is the expansions for that, the darkness.
And then you've got your basic rule book, which I've done a little bit of review on some of the rules, just kind of leading up to and following some of their Awakened Realms and their announcements and their updates to the rule book. So this should be the most current version of the rule book. I expect maybe there will be some revisions and whatnot later as the game actually is played and things happen in that regard. Now, another thing that's really interesting is that there's little fitted trays in here, and each faction almost has their own tray, which makes sense. They sort of released these in 2 faction boxes and single faction boxes. So, but here is all the minis for chapter. We'll get a close-up on the individual minis for the chapter later. But first we're just kind of going through and looking at their various. There's some minis for the demons. I'm starting to lose the cards here, but there's the demons. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's a little dark, but there you go, the demons chapter. There's the big demon there on top with his scary looking hammer. So that's actually pretty neat. And inside the plastic there is, I think, some of the faceless, or no, not the faceless, the darkness, the adversary against all the factions. Here is, I believe this is the Razak. I did lose those cards. They're not actually, they're just banded together. They're not actually wrapped in cellophane or anything like that, but there is what I think is the Razak. Right? Is that
it's hard to tell, but yeah, that looks like them. They got the little techno spiders and stuff. That's the machine faction.
Razak, sort of like this game's Necrons or Strahd.
That's nature because they've got the forest.
That's
angel.
the Reborn. Nope. I'm a total klutz right now. Fortunately, nothing is broken, but Christ on a crutch. Christ on a cracker.
The Reborn was one of the designs that really intrigued me. I thought it was neat how they did that.
They integrated that in, yeah. So there you go. There's the Reborn. Here is, I believe, Faceless. Or maybe this is the wrong.
That I thought was the.
Is this the Razak?
Yeah, that's the Nazak.
I'm sure the other one would have had to have been the Faceless then.
Yeah.
I don't have enough one-to-one experience with the minis in this game yet to have memorized the factions that I'm not totally familiar with. I was mostly focused on stuff like the Reborn and Demons and Chapter. Oh, we found a broken mini. One of the Drovgar is broken off of his base.
Well, that's disappointing.
It's broken off of his base. Now, this could probably be fixed.
Granted,
a little bit of super
turn the
glue.
box over quite a few times, but
We did spin the box. Well, yeah, but still,
yeah,
you should
no,
think
I
that they
know.
would be in there
Should-
secure enough to
Should have been a bit more secure than that.
so.
And yeah, at least it's nothing serious that can be just glued back on.
Nothing is really broken off of him, but I will super glue that back in place whenever I get back to my layer. There's that, and then we'll take a look at their boss character and all the rest of their mechanical bits. So there's that. Alright, so with that, the box is empty. Alright, video's over, we're done. I'm just kidding, guys. Just kidding. So yeah, this is kind of the culmination of 2 years of waiting and a bit of money spent pulled between myself, Volendro, and a bit from Gooberjack. And yeah.
No, we still have those ones too.
We've still got the 2 boss characters to
Well,
look into.
they're not just boss characters. Like, there's supposed to be factions. Like Darkness is actually supposed to have a few characters in it, and so is Father of the Sun.
So we're gonna now, according to what I've seen a lot, these crystals are what everyone is fighting over.
There's a couple of different ways to win, and those crystals is one of them.
So we'll get into that when we actually do the game breakdown on a table and try to play through a couple of times. That won't happen in this video. Okay, guys, after that little cut, just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a closer look at what's going on here in these other bags. So there's the crystals that everyone's fighting over, and then you've got stuff like this, which is your markers and your flags. Every faction has a unique model for their flags, their markers, their territory markers, and I can already tell you now this is going to be an adventure to paint. So I was not expecting them to send it in a box of this classification, to be honest.
Well, they did call it a war chest.
Kind of pull the sides open here a little bit. I'll do a follow-up video later on, kind of detailing the actual game flow.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, so on to the next couple of items inside that huge box. We're going to start with the Father of the Sun, kind of boss character. Just a very little tiny cut in the plastic there, just to get it started with the cellophane. Yeah, there might be another one.
No, those are like legitimate spots on it.
Okay, that's just one.
That's fun. That's a stain.
Alright, so we got
You should probably sit down for those like you were for the boxes there.
the Father of the Sun. I'm going to take a seat here. Now that I've got the giant box out of the way. Just tell me this. Actually, you know what? I'm actually going to stand up. I'm going to stand up because I want to move that box back over here. Just to give you a little bit of a comparison. Again, just with the size. These are the boxes that the boss characters came in. That is the size of the box that came in. So that's insane. Right there.
Yeah. You know, these aren't just boss monsters. These are like full-on factions themselves.
They've got cellophane around them as well. So we're gonna split that. And we're gonna lose that. I just lose something from this?
No, there wasn't anything in there.
Alright. So here is the Father of the Sun expansion. You got your minions. These guys kind of look like just miniature versions of the big guy there. I don't know, I'll wait for it to focus, but just check out the detail on these minis. How many? This guy takes up an entire 7 hexes. I think all of the boss characters for the various factions do. And then most of his minions are mostly just these like robotic looking tick type creatures. So I got a feeling that's going to be a rather interesting encounter. And then the next one we're going to crack open here is the Velcro. Darkness expansion. So, just a little incision in the cellophane and this has its own there's the box of the sort of lesser guys from the Velcro's box. All looking pretty menacing. And then you've got two large base creatures. Just look at all this. Look at all that detail on there. Wait for it to focus. Look at all that detail in there. That's going to be an interesting process to paint.
Yeah, it was like the Eldritch Queen or some kind of queen.
So see if I can get this back in its place, so we can pull out the Velcro. Once again, all that detail. That's again going to be an adventure to paint whenever I get around to it. So
it'll be an adventure to play, that's for sure.
Carefully get these guys back inside their box. So that is the Edge Dawnfall, just what's in the box. I'll be doing a follow-up video here later on, going through the individual factions, their menus, their abilities, and my thoughts on how to make that work. I'll be doing some increasing numbers of videos like this one not just for this game, but there's a couple other games that we got on Kickstarter at the same time.
We will probably do follow-up videos for, depending on how detailed some of them are. Like this one is very detailed, so we'll do a follow-up video for the various factions and take a closer look at the minis. But then we'll also do a gameplay video, or attempt to. This does have single-player campaigns with the darkness. If we'd have just done one or two of the faction chests, or even just the war chest on its own without the darkness or the Father of the Sun stuff, then they would be strictly multiplayer. But with those, it actually does allow for a single player campaign.
Yeah.
So we can do this with just one or two people, or you know, as many of the random encounters people as we get. It was kind of hit and miss trying to get us all in one place at one time, because we've all got different things going on. But we definitely try to, and this is definitely a game where we should try. And so we'll see how many we can get in there, but we should do, either way, we'll have a gameplay video for this as well.
All right, sounds like a plan to me. So with that said, that's that unboxed. We're going to be doing, again, additional videos here later on for the Aetherfields.
Which they said that was going to be a board game, so I'm guessing that's like just an artwork deck, possibly?
So that could be just an artwork deck, but I'll look through it and we'll figure out what that is. And then Siege Storm, which again I believe they did a Kickstarter on, and we'll look through some of those cards, maybe play a couple of rounds, because this looks like a 2-player box right here. And we'll see how that works out, and if you guys enjoy it, if the rest of the RE crew enjoys it, may get into the Kickstarter on that one, I don't know yet. We'll have to see how that works out. Until then, I've been Lumbermoose.
I'm Valendro.
This is Random Encounters Gaming. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you like this video, click that like button below. Somewhere about here, I think, is where it is. And if you think we deserved it, hit that sub button. If you didn't like it, hit the dislike button. Comment below, let us know why. If you got suggestions or comment, just comment below. And once again, we enjoy your criticism and your compliments. And we will see you guys on the next edition of Random Encounters. Catch you later. Peace.